Today, I'm going to be sharing our family's story. There are so many new viewers on here, and sometimes it's easy just to assume that everybody knows who we are, how we got here. And so I thought it'd be fun to share life around here lately. I've been cooking, we've been working on projects. That's all going to be happening while I also, throughout this, tell you our story. Now, you'll have to excuse my voice. I feel like I have to give the disclaimer or there'll be so many comments about this. Yes, we have colds in our family. Everybody is slowly getting over them, so you'll have to bear with me. My nasally voice here. I'm gonna be holding Victor throughout this as well. Let's start this with talking about where we are right now. So currently, I am a mother of 8 children. I have 2 girls and 6 boys in that order. We live on a small 7-acre homestead in Missouri. We have been here for about 5 years now. The process has been full of renovations, property work, acquiring animals. We went from goats to a dairy cow, but more on that in a little bit. It has involved adding 3 new babies that I birthed here in this farmhouse. And of course, the ones that we brought here with us aging. So we now have an almost 15-year-old next month, a 13-year-old, all the way down to a 3-month-old that you just met. We are a Christian homeschooling family that does life side by side every single day. This YouTube channel, along with a blog that I started in early 2016 and a podcast, are our family's full-time income. That has been an evolution over several years, almost 8 years now, learning and growing in business, in photography, in videography. Such a learning curve this whole journey has been. Something I also want to say before diving into the story of how we got here is that nothing is perfect. If I could, a decade ago, 15 years ago, almost 16 years ago when Luke and I got married, dreamt up what I wanted life to look like in the year 2023, homeschooling a large family on a homestead, side by side with my husband, this is honestly probably about the best picture I could possibly paint. But with that being said, we are normal humans that live normal lives. We have normal conflict, disobedient children at times, discouragement, self-doubt. I come on here and I show you things very confidently after I've already learned them, sometimes very imperfectly. I find out too from the comments that times I'm doing things wrong. That's bound to happen all the time because as we started this homestead about 5 years ago, I started my blog about 8 years ago. This whole time, I have been learning and growing all through the process. There's been so many things that I didn't know how to do, and I've taken you along as I've learned them. I do keep my channel and my very personal life quite separate. I'm not one to get on here and just spill all about everything that, we go through or any challenges. The very clear and direct goal of this channel is to inspire you in homemaking and homesteading, in serving your family in very practical, simple, beautiful ways. Teach you things as I learn them, hopefully give you inspiration and come alongside you wherever you are in that journey. I've learned from my analytics that my largest demographic of viewers are about 5 to 10 years younger than me. I'm mostly talking to myself whenever I was getting started with all of this stuff when I knew nothing. And I actually really love that because I feel like there's some purpose behind it. I have met so many people in real life who have come up to me and said, I learned how to do sourdough from you. I learned how to sew from you. And honestly, sometimes those interactions are so encouraging, but I also sometimes get a bit of imposter syndrome because I feel like I am just learning right alongside you, and I have this platform here on YouTube and Instagram, my blog, and it's built up, but I'm just a regular mom here making food, doing laundry, cleaning bathrooms, milking cows, changing toddlers, picking up Legos. I mean, you name it, all of those things every single day. I have been a homemaker for almost 16 years. I was where you are just years ago, just embarking on this and now adding new skills each day, week, month, year. And here I am now, 38 years old. And There's been a lot of water under the bridge, a lot I have learned over a decade of doing these types of things that I show you on this channel. Not to leave out people who are older than me, because my analytics show that you watch too. It's just my largest demographic is homemakers who are younger, who want to learn how to be productive in their home, how to cook from scratch, maybe start a business or a homestead. And I just happen to be in this unique place and time where I am the age I am, and the internet was where it was whenever I started this. And so here I am, able to have this audience of people with whom my homemaking journey can unfold in front of. So let's start at the beginning. Luke and I got married in 2007. Our first baby was due on our anniversary in 2008. So we are 16 years married next month. We just rented a little home for the first 8-ish months of our marriage. We were looking for a home that entire time. We found one. It was '08. So if you are up on your mortgage and market history, you know that we hit the jackpot with the timing there. Just again, not any planning or any credit to us. It was just when we were looking for a house. And so we were able to find a very inexpensive little bungalow in town on a 1/4 acre. It was built in the 1920s, had a lot of character. I can't really say I necessarily appreciated that at the time or really cared, but it was what was the jumping off point for our business. We had our first baby in '08. She and the next home were both hospital births, so I ultimately switched to midwife-led births from the 3rd through the 8th, but I was very committed to being a stay-at-home mom. This was a huge priority for our family. Luke worked for the city where we lived, so it wasn't exactly a super high-paying job, but we knew that we would be homeschooling. We had that conviction already when I was pregnant with our first child, based on lots of reasons that I probably won't go into here, but we knew that we wanted to do that. We knew that I would need to stay home in order to homeschool. And so I did just that for my entire 20s. I had my first at the age of 23. I was 23 in 1 month when I had her, and I didn't take on any business activities except a few small entrepreneurial journeys in my 20s really seriously until I was 30, when we had our next goal. So I'll go into that in a moment. One thing that has kept this farmhouse of ours cozy and comfortable for the last 5 years since we moved in is Brooklinen sheets. Brooklinen is a New York-based company that has high-quality home goods. I personally love the look and feel of the linen sheets. They fit perfectly in with the farmhouse style, but still look elevated and beautiful. So right now I chose the wash linen hardcore sheet bundle with the color raisin for the sheets and the pillowcases, and then I mix and match that with the khaki chambray duvet cover and additional pillows. Perfect this time of year as I'm going to start bringing in some Christmas decor. I have some stockings that match perfectly because the bedding is so beautiful. I make my bed every single day. When I walk past this room, it feels cozy, comfortable, luxurious, yet still light and airy farmhouse, which is exactly what I'm going for. On the Brooklinen website, you can mix and match between all of the different colors. They have so many beautiful colors to choose from. Of course, the washed linen is my favorite choice because it's light and cozy. It's perfect for warm days or cool nights. It's washed and dried in small batches, so it has beautiful color and character. They also offer the classic percale, which is a 100% long staple cotton. It's perfect for warm sleepers. It's cool and crisp. The Luxe Sateen is their best seller. It has buttery soft smoothness, and it tends to be loved by all types of sleepers. There's the relaxed and breathable organic cotton and the heathered cashmere. So there's something for you no matter what type of sleeper you are, no matter what kind of decor style you're looking to achieve in your home. They have beautiful options for all of them. Investing in high quality sheets is worth it because they will last so long and be a beautiful staple in your home. Now, instead of buying individual items, you can save 20% by buying your sheets in a hardcore bundle. This includes a core sheet set, extra pillowcases, and a duvet cover. You can mix and match to get an entire look for your bed all at once. Right now, Brooklinen is having a sale where you can get 15% off all sheets. Like I mentioned earlier, a little half hack that I'd recommend is getting the hardcore bundle. That will save you up to 35% since you can stack the bundle discount with the coupon discount. It's a great time to start shopping for Christmas gifts or just to build up your collection before they sell out in the holiday rush. Again, thank you so much to Brooklinen for sponsoring today's video. Check out the link in the description box below to shop the sale and the bundles. I had 2 more children in my 20s. One of them there is on the left, and there is the other one leading his pony. And my 20s was spent learning how to garden, learning how to bake bread, learning how to be a stay-at-home mom, how to structure my day and my schedule, what to do productively with a wide open day when, up until being a stay-at-home mom, pretty much all of my waking moments were dictated by some kind of schedule, whether that be a school schedule, work schedule. Whenever you are a stay-at-home mom, you get to figure out how to spend your day. That can be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on if you are good at being self-motivated. It comes with time. And at first, I was not very good at it. I remember when I first had my first daughter, I was so surprised that the transition was really difficult. And people ask me, what's the hardest transition? I always say 0 to 1 because you are so free. You don't even know what you don't know. You don't know what things you don't have to worry about until you have to worry about them. And I found that so true with having my first. So I just spent all of my 20s figuring out what to do with that. When I was 30, shortly after I had my 4th child, when he was a baby, I got a big idea to start a business. At first, I called it something else. I'm trying to remember what I called it. Well, I remember now. I'm not going to tell you. But I had an Etsy shop for many years. I would sew things at nap time and sell dresses. I sold kefir grains because when you have kefir grains, they expand and grow. And so I would grow those and sell them. Very small endeavors. But my first thought was, I have this Etsy shop. I will use a blog business to promote the products in the shop. And so I wanted to tie the names together. It was actually a name after my oldest daughter because I started the shop when she was a baby because I was learning to sew. It was so fun. And I thought I'll make more stuff and sell it. Not a very profitable idea because hourly rate of sewing and selling something was actually quite low for me. I found that people were really used to cheap clothing prices when they're handmade. They have to be so pricey that you kind of price yourself out of the market if you want it to be worth your time. I know some people do this really well. I never quite figured that out. So anyways, that was the first name. And then in January of 2016, I changed it. I had this idea that I wanted to live on a farm so bad. I dreamed of having goats that I could milk or a dairy cow. We already had chickens in a garden, but I wanted to expand it. I wanted acreage where our kids could just go outside and play. We didn't have to worry about a busy street, or where we lived, there was a park next door. It was a very small house on a very small lot, but I really wanted to live this lifestyle in a farmhouse. And so it was a little house on Boone Street in town. So I decided to call the blog Farmhouse on Boone. If you didn't know, that's where the name came from. We are no longer on Boone Street, but it was those early days. I couldn't see these goals coming to fruition at all, but we knew we wanted it. We didn't know how it would come about, that we could have this little piece of land to take care of and cultivate, but I could be content with living out my farmhouse dreams, making sourdough bread, tending to a garden that was basically the same size as our backyard, or about half the size of it, in town, and just embraced that that was our farmhouse. I kind of dilly-dallied with the business through 2016 because I didn't know what I was doing. I knew you could make an income with it, but I wasn't super clear on how exactly that would work. Later that year, Luke and I sat down at a coffee shop and laid out a plan. We never saw him working the same job forever. We knew we wanted to have some kind of business. I had this blog and we wanted it to work. So we had a plan that in 6 months he would quit his job. We worked out the numbers on what we would need. This is not a huge number. We have since realized just how quick we jumped. It was a really great decision because having more time to devote to it only made it grow so much more exponentially. But at the time, what we decided we needed, was really small because we really wanted to do it and we didn't want to put it off forever. We also focused so heavily on debt freedom. Prior to this, we'd already scraped up every single penny to pay off our mortgage. We had no debts at all, which meant that we could afford to take a big chance, knowing that worst case scenario, we could live off of eggs, rice, and beans if we couldn't make it work. We just got really laser focused and wanted it so bad. The next 2 years was very intense because we had another baby in 2017. I was working every nap, every night after kids went to bed on this business, on creating blog posts and YouTube videos with no help from any virtual assistants or anything, because I knew that it would eventually pay off. And then in May of 2018, Luke was able to quit his job. It was about a year after our original goal, so we didn't make that 6 months. But when we passed up his city income, we just took the jump, knowing that there was other things we could do while the business was growing. So at that time, I had networked with some other bloggers who were all wanting to create video content. At that time, it was still kind of new to be a video focused content creator. That was when Instagram was still photos, but obviously now everything's video. So I took on a couple of career bloggers in the St. Louis area doing video production for them. So I would bring my cameras and lights and make recipe videos, edit them, turn them back to them. This was just another way to add to our income while growing the more passive aspects of it that we get to enjoy today, 5 years later. Shortly after Luke quit his job, we expanded our real estate search. We had been looking for about 5 years for about 5 acres-ish and an old house in the area that we were in so he could still drive to work. We never found it, but now that he was home, we were able to expand that search. That's when this property came up. So he quit his job in May. In October, we put our offer on this house. Now, again, we hit really good timing because it was the year 2019 when we purchased. It was late 2018 that we put the offer on. But of course, all things kind of shake out because we also sold our house at those old prices. If we could go back and just keep both houses, we probably would. But because we sold the house and the budget was still pretty tight, it was nice having the sale of the house. We were able to buy this farmhouse and homestead with all cash. That was a huge goal of ours. The numbers just eked through. It was just barely a thing that we could do, but we were able to move here and keep our same convictions on debt freedom that we knew would allow us to have time freedom. We moved here in the middle of a huge snowstorm in January of 2019. Ever since then, we have been growing our homestead. We added a dairy cow. We added a lot more chickens. We fenced in the entire property. We removed a cottage that was moldy, put in a garden with a white picket fence, renovated the other cottage, added sidewalks, landscaping, fruit trees, really sinking in, settling in, putting down roots. We added 3 more babies born in this home. We've done a lot of renovations. You can follow along with the renovation story of this kitchen in my Victorian farmhouse renovation playlist, start to finish. We've done bathrooms, we've done bedrooms, added a cozy wood stove. We are in this sweet spot now where we're just enjoying what we've built up. So this is the time of year where you start to think about goals. And right now, my biggest goal is to be content with what we have. I am such an entrepreneur type of person. I have that spirit. I want to launch new things, build new things. And that is something that I have to constantly fight. I do have a team now that helps with Farmhouse on Boone. So there will be, different things launched, but a lot of behind the scenes work not done by me goes on with that. These things aren't bad things. And I'm sure that I'll launch something next year that you're going to call me out on, but living a slower, more simple pace of life is the goal. So the last few years, my goals have just been less, work less, renovate less, be content, remembering why we had this goal in the first place of starting a business with the potential for passive income, moving to a homestead, homeschooling, having lots of babies, getting a dairy cow, chickens. We wanted time freedom with our family. And now, there's so many opportunities with the way that this business has grown, and I have to really exercise the muscle of saying no. It's difficult for me, but that's something that I'm constantly working on, trying to keep in focus the very reason why we pursued this lifestyle to begin with. Sometimes we dream of packing the kids up and seeing the world, but there's something about a home-centered life with structure and just enjoying simple things. God has blessed every part of this journey for us. Like I said, it hasn't been perfect, but I am thankful for it and thankful for you following along.